What is up, everybody? NC.
JC and
We're back with Triple H is a Bad Booker, episode 18, and this one is about how he has made Bray Wyatt a joke.
Like he's buried him worse than Vince did.
I didn't think it could happen. I mean, because Vince fucking hated Bray Wyatt, but Triple H hates him even more.
He's like, Vince, hold my beer.
Exactly. That's what he did. And you know what? You can't blame Brock Lesnar for thinking that Bray's a joke and saying, I don't want to work with that fucker for WrestleMania.
I don't blame him.
You can't blame him. I mean, he had to do what he had to do because what has Triple H done is he has made Bray Wyatt a fucking joke. So let's go back to the very beginning. So yeah, Vince hates Bray, but this is, I think, Bray Wyatt has been one of those guys that both Triple H and Vince have been able to agree that they don't like him. This is one of the few guys throughout WWE history who they both agree in solidarity that he sucks.
He sounds to me like he's somebody hard to work with.
Well, because he's one of those guys that has to have it his way or the highway. That's what it comes across. So let's go ahead and look at the nexus point of all this shit. So in NXT, he was never pushed as Husky Harris. He was a fucking comedy jobber pretty much when he got brought in.
Yeah.
He was using that fucking nexus shit, made a fucking comedy jobber in fucking NXT, okay? And it gets to the point that he debuts his little Waylon Mercy ripoff character, the first incarnation of Bray Wyatt. Gets his own little stable and gets a little bit of heat going in NXT. Never wins a world title. Never wins any title for that matter. But Vince likes the character, so he brings him up. And what does he do right off the bat with this three-man is he has them feud with the Shield. And what does Triple H do since he is solidarily behind the Shield? Why? Because he has to get one up over CM Punk. Mm-hmm. So he was the driving force behind the Shield. I firmly believe Triple H was the driving force behind the Shield. And he made sure that the Shield fucking crushed Bray Wyatt's faction.
Yeah.
Fucking crushed them. Roman Reigns made Bray Wyatt his bitch so many times. Like an irreversible amount of times.
And even back then, back then, Triple H from 2010 to 2020 was the EVP of Talent, Live Events, and Creative.
Yes.
Like he was in the Bruce Pritchard role back then.
He was getting his shit in, but even just look at his NXT booking for all the proof you need. Right. He never saw Bray as a top guy.
No.
And Vince saw at least a little bit of top guy potential in Bray at the beginning before he became such a fat whiny bitch.
How absurd. He saw Bo Dallas as more of a top guy than him.
Well, I think the biggest thing was Bray Wyatt's ego. It really got in the way, and it got in the way right off the bat. And while they realized that they could make money off of Bray Wyatt, and especially the whole Fireflies bullshit, and the fans were catching on to his gimmick, they were catching on to his character, you know, they realized they could make money off of it. But at the same time, this guy was very hard to work with. And because of that, they were like, you know what, Bray, you can go and try to reinvent yourself, but we're going to cut off your legs every fucking time. And that's just how it is.
Like, this is not like incompetence. This is sabotage.
No, this is
straight up
like direct sabotage. And so what happens is Bray, he gets written off and he comes back with a new character. Oh, he's got the Fiend now. You know, he's got these little backstage segments and shit. Why? Because Vince loves the goofy fucking Wonder Shows and ripoff shit. So he goes ahead and puts it on. That's Vince's shit. I will give him that. The original Firefly Funhouse, not this new shit written by Bray.
No.
The original was definitely Vince's shit. Okay, there's no doubt about that. He gave him a cast of characters, let him work out all this shit. And what happens? Triple H crushes him to the point that you can never bring him back ever again in that Hell in a Cell match with Seth Rollins.
Yep.
A show guy, mind you. Crushes him badly. So fucking badly that the Fiend cannot be brought back anymore. They tried to bring back the burnt Fiend for Fastlane.
Oh, God.
That lasted like one episode, and then they're like, on Raw, they changed it back to the original Fiend because they realized that this character was so fucking damaged. And this is Triple H's sabotage. He had Seth Rollins basically brain damage the fuck out of the Fiend. Dropped everything on him. Oh, but that makes him look tough. No, it doesn't make him look tough. It makes Seth Rollins look like a badass in Triple H's world, mind you. And it makes Bray Wyatt look like a fucking bitch. Especially the fact that it was booked for the world title. That tells you the type of booking mindset. And so the Fiend was fucking crushed. The Firefly Funhouse fucking crushed. And they even further sabotaged it when Bray left for a little bit. What they do, they had that whole gimmick rolling with Alexa Bliss with the whole stupid doll. And that was one of the dumbest fucking gimmicks that in storylines, mind you, that they've ever had. with what was it? They had the one fucking ugly dyke with the Mickey Mouse voice.
Oh, Shayna.
Shayna feuding with the doll.
Oh, God.
When it gets to that point, it's so fucking bad, and they're trying to fucking bury what was set aside for Bray. They're trying to bury the Funhouse, and that's what they did. They buried the Funhouse. They buried Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
And now what did they do? Triple H is like, oh, I need some draws. I need some people to tune into. I'll bring Bray back and give him his own writer and all the bells and whistles and this White Rabbit bullshit. And then I'm going to fucking take him to the ground with this Uncle Howdy shit. And that he did. Uncle Howdy fucking tanked this into the ground.
And the sad thing, too, is that the White Rabbit thing could have been big.
It was...
like, had they done it right, go with the whole Gray Slick... isolated vocals of White Rabbit, go with the whole like Rabbit Tribe. It could have been good.
There was a lot of potential with it, but because it was written by Bray and his little comedy horror writer, and Triple H let them have free reign, it turned out into some goofy bullshit. That's why nowadays, when you see this goofy shit with him and Bobby Lashley, what are people saying? Oh, that's Vince. That's Vince writing that shit. No. That's Vince in control. No, that is Bray and his writers getting full creative freedom. There's a reason why Vince turned down a lot of those creative ideas back in the day, because they were fucking stupid. The only reason why Triple H is allowing them actively nowadays is just so he can keep Bray around.
Right. Well, and the thing too is, as we mentioned, is again, Bray has his contract. Right. So does Brock.
It's in his contract.
And it's one of the things we've said about Bray from the get-go.
Right.
It's that the guy has a lot of great creative ideas. He just doesn't know how to piece them together. And Triple H doesn't know what to do with it. But we're actually seeing a more worrisome pattern here, where we think Triple H is actually trying to bury him.
Well, my opinion about Bray Wyatt is I think that a lot of his ideas, they could have potential, but he is a lazy, uncreative person. What he does is he bites off a lot of other established horror ideas and tries to bring them into pro wrestling. That's why Jim Cornette ripped him the fuck up and said, you try to make this goofy shit work for pro wrestling. It's not working for pro wrestling.
Yeah, because it's not believable.
Well, because he doesn't know how to properly execute it. That's his biggest problem, and always has been, is that he doesn't know how to take these dream story ideas and put them on paper and make them reality. He doesn't know how to do that properly. And that's why you have people like Triple H actively booking him as a jobber. Look at Bray Wyatt right now. Coming off that White Rabbit shit, this is his third try now at reinventing himself. And what do they have him do? Break the fourth wall and become a fat, sobbing bitch on camera. Irredeemable at that point. You have, like, by allowing him to do that shit, I don't know if that was a Stephanie idea, a Triple H idea, by allowing him to do that shit, what you did is you actively buried Bray Wyatt. That was a self-burial, mind you. You allowed him to bury himself by breaking the fourth wall and exposing that, I'm so properly mistreated. They didn't give me this. They didn't give me that. That was Triple H too, who wasn't giving you that shit. Right. And now all he's letting you do is whine like fucking CM Punk. Break the fourth wall like every other fucking talentless fucking jabroni nowadays. Yeah. That ruined Bray Wyatt's momentum. And to ruin it even further, like, they could have just had the White Rabbit shit and then brought back the Fiend with the characters like they had planned originally. They could have done that. But no, what they instead decided to do is go back to the Firefly Funhouse, a failed idea, and start rolling with that again and have him feud with Bobby Lashley for whatever fucking reason. It still doesn't make sense to me. I still don't understand.
I honestly think it's more pathetic than that. I think it's they realize how cold he is, just how fucking ice cold he is, and they're trying to pull anything back. And the next is going to be the Fiend you're going to see back. They're trying to pull anything back to try to keep him somewhat relevant because he's in WrestleMania. But he's irrelevant because they buried the fuck out of him.
Well, and Triple H even sacrificed an NXT guy in LA Knight to Bray Wyatt, and it did nothing for him. That's why we're always saying that if you wanted to do something, at least put LA Knight over, because at least he was red hot at the time. Right. Bray was already fucking cold diarrhea going into that feud because everybody saw he was a fat sobbing bitch and he sucked. So, like, why do we got to care about this guy?
And the other thing too is, like, putting him over Bobby Lashley is going to do nothing for him. I think it may even get him booed. Well, I think it may even get a little bit of heat from the crowd
because Bobby is liked, man. He's finally one of those people that the Smarks are warming up to. We've always liked Bobby. We've always thought he's an essential talent, should be in the main event, should be competing for a world title, but instead he's a fucking mid card. That's because of Triple H and his terrible fucking booking. Yep. But the nexus point of, like, Bray Wyatt, though, there's some sort of issue with him and Triple H because He did not like him in NXT.
Nope.
Never push him as a top star.
Nope.
And through all his booking time, he has never optimized Bray Wyatt, has never made him a true guy. If it's true what he says about physique does not matter in Triple H's world, then why is Kevin Owens being pushed? And why is Bray Wyatt not being pushed? Why? Because Kevin Owens is a Triple H dick sucker. He will suck Triple H's tiny fucking beat steroid dick. He will suck it, and he'll suck out every little drop of fucking cum that comes out. He will do that, damn it, because he's dedicated to sucking Triple H's dick, and has been since NXT.
He's got, air quotes, passion for the business.
That's where his heart.
That's what Triple H is talking about when
His
he's hard.
Hard on is what he's talking about.
My hard on in his mouth.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got heart. Get it? Art?
He loves people that competed for Ring of Honor and suck his dick. Bray Wyatt does neither. And what did Bray Wyatt do that probably pissed off? He probably, I bet you anything, they were a little pissed off after he went and knocked up JoJo.
Could be.
Because took away one of their announcers and took her off TV, But Bray Wyatt is one of those guys, he has done so much to piss off management, whether it be Vince McMahon, whether it be Triple H, so much to the point where, he's even gone out of his way, where Vince is screaming at him, "You fat fuck! Look at you!
You're going to go to the buffet after the show. Look at you. Why are you so fat?
I would have loved to get that.
You have no respect for yourself. I don't know what it is.
Why didn't they get that on camera, damn it? You look like a fat maniac clown. Damn it, it was money. But Triple H, even with that goofy gimmick, we're the type of guys, we could take his shitty Fiend character and we could make some gold out of that turd.
Well, the Fiend, if we did, the Fiend would not be supernatural. It would be a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde kind of thing where he has a split personality.
Yes, it would definitely be the dissociative identity disorder.
Right.
A mental illness that goes unchecked. He has to go to a psychiatrist to get it treated.
Well, and that's what it should be. It should be not supernatural, because when you go supernatural, it automatically becomes goofy and cartoonish and stupid. If it's a split personality disorder where he's got all these different personalities in him.
Right.
Okay.
It's realistic, especially with all the mental illness we have in these wrestling fans nowadays. It makes sense. They could probably identify with that. They'll be like, I have multiple personalities too.
And that's another thing too, is that that's a good point you bring up, because how many people have mental illnesses now that, that they could resonate with on TV?
Exactly.
See a performer, he's got depression. Well, I've got depression. I can see myself in him. I can relate to him.
Oh, he's got anxiety. I got anxiety too.
It kind of reminds me of when Morrow was relating to the Joker.
Right.
Morrow.
That's the thing too, is when you can have something relatable, that's when you connect with the fan. Unfortunately, if we relate with all these psychotic wrestling fans, we would just have a bunch of fucking bisexual, transsexual weirdos going out, chugging down pain medication and doing crazy shit and screaming at wrestlers.
Right.
Yeah, it's just bullshit, man. It really is bullshit what's going on with Triple H. How he could have taken a guy like Bray Wyatt and at least made him a main eventer by this point. With all the time that he had, he could have made Bray Wyatt into a solid main eventer with this third try round. He had everything set with that White Rabbit thing. 2.4 million views on SmackDown. 2.5. People were excited for this shit.
It was trending on Twitter.
They were excited for how do you take all that momentum and crash it to the fucking ground?
Back then, the White Rabbit shirt was the top merch seller.
It's amazing.
It was the number one merch seller above the Bloodline.
Mm-hmm.
And it's become an afterthought.
True. And Maurice was saying, if I was writing the whole concept of the Uncle Howdy storyline, I would have made Uncle Howdy as a manifestation of Bray Wyatt's inner demons and his past as a way of reminding him of who he was.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one, Maurice. I agree. And that's how you have to do, is you just have to make it realistic. And that's the thing about Triple H, is he doesn't write anything.
No.
At all. So he lets this uncreative weirdo, Bray Wyatt, go in and write his own shit. At least with Vince kind of being the filter for Bray Wyatt, he could weed in what he can work with and what he can't work with.
It's almost like he's just letting him bury himself.
Well, that's what it really is there's no filter. It's like if you took Aleister Black, let him go on TV and use all the fucking goofy ideas he came up with, like energy circles around his knees and I use different lighting in my promos to refer to the wrestlers' trunks of who I'm facing. It's
my God.
Just the weird shit that these wrestlers come up with on their own needs a filter. You need to have a Vince McMahon filter. And when you don't have a filter, you get shit like this on TV.
Yeah.
Because Triple H, he has no filter. It's just, saving me writing time. Go ahead.
Because Triple H isn't creative and he's not a booker. He's basically a guy that sucked his way up to get to the top.
Yeah. Straight up, always has been. He has always been a big suck ass.
He's basically Cody Rhodes. He's like a roided up Cody Rhodes with a big nose.
Pretty much.
That's basically what he is. He's a coattail wagger.
And that's why he loves Cody Rhodes so much. He's like a junior version of me. It reminds me of myself, except with less muscle and less charisma and even less mic skills and less in-ring ability, and he's less likable. And I think that's why. Because Sammy and Cody will never threaten his legacy. Bray Wyatt, it's not like he would ever threaten my legacy anyways.
He's kind of like Bitch Stewie from Family Guy. He's Bitch Hunter.
He's Bitch Hunter. He pretty much is with the fucking business suits and the whole fucking evolution phase. That's what it is with Cody Rhodes. And that's why Triple H, he puts the people he does at the top because they will never fulfill up to him visually in any way. Like, it doesn't matter his world title reigns, his reign at the top, his reign of terror. You will never match up to Triple H because he has engineered it to be so. That's how it is. Bray Wyatt is irrelevant, Jermaine, and everybody else out there because Triple H has made him so.
Mm-hmm.
He has allowed Bray Wyatt to bury himself.
Yeah.
Vince at least tried to help out the fat fuck, but
I genuinely believe that. I genuinely believe that Vince did try, because Vince tried to get him over.
And what did he say after a while? After all these fucking complaints and headaches and fucking crying? Oh, fuck it. You're gone.
Yeah.
Cut him.
Because Vince even realized it's like he's not worth it.
Yeah.
He's not worth it. Triple H's like, I need star power to inflate the ratings. I'm desperate, please.
And that's what it's come down to, is he needs anybody he can. That's why John Cena is coming back. Because he has to do anything he can to inflate the ratings.
Look at how many former stars are back from Mania.
Right.
You got John Cena. You're going to have John Cena. You got Trish Stratus. You got Lita. You got Bray Wyatt. Like, there's probably going to be more. There's probably going to be, you got Lesnar. You're probably going to have Goldberg. Like, who knows?
Yeah, you're definitely going to have some more people. He's reaching in the bag because he needs all the star power he can for Smarkamania. Because what he's effectively done is he's effectively ruined the company. And he's going to keep on fucking ruining the company. It doesn't matter what major storyline. And the fact that he's doing this shit with Bobby Lashley, you asshole.
They're not so dumb they don't know that. Because after what happened with Royal Rumble, they know that Bobby Lashley's starting to get a little bit of momentum.
But Bobby deserves better. Man, he deserves better.
And like, if you had, like, it's a damn if you do, damn if you don't. Because if you put Bobby over, you bury Bray Wyatt even further.
Well, that's the thing, is you don't have him feud. If anything, Bray Wyatt should be feuding with somebody that makes sense. Who was he feuding with before all this bullshit happened? Back when he was the Fiend. Randy Orton.
Yeah.
Bring back Orton. Have him do a fucking RKO on Bray Wyatt.
Or
Bray's pissed off. You don't have to do a face Bray Wyatt. It doesn't make any sense anyways. You should do heel Bray Wyatt.
It could be, you can go with Cena. You can go with Karrion Kross.
Right.
You could go with Dramatic. Like, there's so many other venues you can go down.
Right.
They don't have to do this.
It's so stupid. But that's
Triple H. They could have gone with Cody Rhodes.
It's Triple H booking logic for you guys. Fucking incoherent, illogical nonsense. What do you expect from this, man? Fucking retard. God. He couldn't know what to do with Bray Wyatt. Vince doesn't know what to do with Bray Wyatt.
Oh, they know what to do, and they're sabotaging him.
We know what to do.
Oh, yeah.
We've done a fix this on that fucker before. We'll do another one if it takes it. But
yeah.
But even then, even if they bite our ideas, they'll still find a way to fuck up the execution because that's how Triple H is.
And then the creative team was fucking garbage.
Indeed. So that is an end of this. Triple H is a bad booker. NC.
JCN.
Peace out.